Are you okay? You seem more down today than usual. Did Netflix implement yet another price hike?
I mean, probably, but I couldn't really care less about that.
Then what's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just a little out of it today is all. Trust me, I'm fine.
Fine is a word reserved for either describing Shamar Moore or for lazily hiding the fact that you are not currently okay.
All right. Look, the truth is that I've been feeling a little depressed lately. But it's all right. I'll figure things out.
Are you in need of help?
I mean, honestly, at this point it probably wouldn't be the worst idea.
Ah, I see. So it sounds like you're being a little bitch. So what's wrong, champ? Would you like me to acquire you a stuffed teddy bear or perhaps some lollipops of varying flavors?
Look, there's no point in talking about this with someone who doesn't take depression seriously, all right? Belittling other people's afflictions isn't exactly a proven method for soothing them.
Excuse me, I actually take your little baby disease very seriously. In fact, I just spent several minutes browsing WebMD on the topic. Also, you most likely have cancer of some sort.
Dear God, depression isn't some imaginary baby disease. It's a serious mental affliction that can cause irreparable harm to a person's life. Throw anxiety into the mix, and it's like having a mosquito constantly buzzing in your ear that you can never turn off, no matter how hard you try.
I believe that they sell candles for that.
A candle may keep a mosquito away, but it isn't going to cure depression. Suddenly your interests and hobbies are no longer interesting at all. Your relationships suffer, your libido goes out the window, and the harder you try to snap out of your funk, the more you realize that the very question plaguing you is simple. What's the point of anything? And it's not one you can answer no matter how deep you dig.
I don't understand how you can be depressed about anything. Didn't you just have a birthday? Were there not enough balloons?
Birthdays aren't things you celebrate anymore when you hit a certain age. Now they're just annual reminders that you'll never be the person you wanted to be growing up, and that the world owns our lives, not the other way around.
Anyway, according to Wikipedia, the prevalence of major depression amongst individuals has been steadily increasing in the United States, especially amongst younger generations such as lazy millennials and the woke Generation Z, who are probably also lazy, which I base off nothing. In fact, the World Health Organization, best known for tricking the world into thinking that the China virus was real so that they could make Anthony Fauci a fake hero, even classifies it as an epidemic.
Is it really surprising that depression is on the rise, especially in younger generations who will never be able to afford a home and who work their asses off only to see their six-figure jobs become meaningless due to inflation? Most of the world will be boiling alive in a few decades, while half our country wants to put fascists in the White House and thinks basic human rights are somehow evil. And the cherry on top is the sudden ubiquity of social media, where people who haven't come close to achieving their dreams get to scroll through news feeds, see the success that others are having, and realizing that all of their own hard work has led them nowhere. So what's the point of even trying anymore?
You know, there are people much worse off than you. In fact, I believe that Travis Kelce still has to pretend to date that monster Taylor Swift in public to keep up appearances. Not to mention the thousands of people who are killed every day around the world in various battles. Maybe you should think about them and stop whining about your own problems. Especially poor Travis.
That's one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. Just saying, well, someone out there has it worse, doesn't bring any kind of comfort unless you're talking to a sociopath who takes pleasure in the suffering of others. By that logic, a person trapped under some rubble with a broken leg isn't allowed to complain about their circumstances, because somewhere in the world might be a person trapped under rubble with 2 broken legs. Just because other people have their own problems, some worse and some not, doesn't invalidate your own issues. It's just a cheap and easy way to tell people to just shut up and get over something, no matter how much internal pain they might be in.
According to more random internet research that I did 5 minutes ago, depression tends to go hand in hand with substance abuse issues, in particular, alcoholism.
Oh my God, whatever.
The rate of alcoholism in people with the mental disease of depression, unlike those who have much cooler afflictions, like whatever turns the Hulk into a superhero, is noticeably higher than in normal people who do not need to drink in order to make it through the day.
Look, it's easy to dismiss major depressive disorder for those who have never experienced it, but you're right in that depression can be a major contributing factor to addictive alcoholism. I mean, it may not make the causes of your pain go away, but it'll hide it for a bit. It isn't the right way to do it, but sometimes it's the only way people have readily and easily available. A shot of bourbon, to at least numb the pain, is a whole lot cheaper than a therapist who could help cure it. It's also true that we're seeing more alcohol-related deaths than at any time during our history, and a lot of it goes back to what we've been saying since the beginning of this video, that depression is on the rise, and fighting it simply isn't as easy as you seem to think it is.
What do you mean? There are plenty of drugs to treat depression. All you have to do is have great insurance or be rich enough to afford them without financial assistance. I'm sure that most people who are depressed have stable jobs and lots of money in their bank accounts. Easy peasy.
Do you really want to rely on a pill every day in order to keep your mood up? And to your point, provided you can even afford those drugs, no, you don't. A proper approach to depression is self-reflection and a support system of people willing to listen, even if they don't have the answers. Most of the time, all someone who's depressed wants is for someone to at least try to understand them. It's called respect, and it's the cure for a lot of ills.
I'm sorry, I struggle to respect someone who just has an overly active victim complex. It is why I am rooting for President Donald Trump in the upcoming election, of course, even though the election will probably be stolen from him as usual, because the world is unfair.
And therein lies an enormous problem, and probably why depression is still such a major hurdle for people. Yes, it's true that some people over-exaggerate and feign depression for attention, or perhaps are even a little too sensitive to routine bumps in the road of life. But that doesn't give you the right to dismiss the people who are genuinely suffering. I mean, there's a reason we're not only facing record-high alcohol-related deaths, but a record-high suicide rate as well in this country. It's because of the stigma that's still somehow associated with mental health. It's been estimated that more than half of people with depression never bother to get help because of the negative stereotypes associated with it, fueled by people like you telling everyone who might be a little down that they're just being victims. Perhaps if people would make the effort to try and understand, instead of just immediately dismiss, then we could work toward a future where alcoholism, suicides and depression are less common than they are now.
Okay, or you could simply just stop being a snowflake and get over it. That seems much easier.